It's the dictionary. 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 It's the dictionary.
Hello, word nerds. My name is Spencer. I am the host of this podcast called The Dictionary. Welcome to it. I hope you're doing really great. I'm doing a little tired, but that's just the way life goes sometimes, especially when your work is really crazy and you have a crazy life. Okay, so let's talk about the words. The first word in this episode is glut. G-L-U-T. This is the first form, which is the verb from the 14th century, and we are starting with transitive. Number one, to fill, especially with food, to satiety or satiety, when you're satiated and you're full. To fill with food until you're full. Fill until you're full. So that is the action of glutting. Now, I have not heard of this used in this way, but I have heard of a different form of this word, which will be in the beginning of the next episode. But we got more, so we got to keep on going. We got number two, which is to flood with goods, so that supply exceeds demand. And what are you flooding? You're flooding the market. So maybe you got a whole bunch of cookies and you are like, I got a bunch of cookies. I'm just going to put them all out there in the market. More cookies than anybody's ever seen before. Nobody will even know what to do with all of these cookies. And because there are so many cookies out there, the demand goes down and down and down. People are like, we don't even need cookies anymore. We got too many cookies. We're trying to give away cookies, but everybody else has got cookies. And where they're like, I don't want your cookies. I got my own cookies. They're like, but I got cookies and I need to get rid of my cookies. So please take my cookies. That's glutting the flood, glutting the market. And then we have intransitive, which is to eat gluttonously. Now, let's look at this. To fill, especially with food. Now, the action of glutting makes me think that you are filling yourself, you're eating your food until you're full, until you're satiated, and that's it. That's it, no more. But I know that the word glutton feels more like you are eating until you're past satiated, past satiety, satiety. I don't know the word. Interesting. Well, for more synonym information, go see the word satiate, the action of satiating. This is so interesting. Okay, well, now we gotta make a sound effect, and then we gotta move on to our next word, and the sound effect shall be ba-bump, ba-bump. Now we have this second form of glut. Noun from circa 1546. Number one, an excessive quantity. The synonym is oversupply. Okay, so now that brings us to our cookie example in the market. There is an excessive quantity. There is a glut of cookies. Oh no, we've got a glut of cookies. What are we gonna do? We're gonna eat those cookies. Okay, now this seems different. This is too much. But the verb glut for food is like just enough. That's what it seems like to me, at least. I'm satiated. I fill myself until I'm satiated, so that seems like the right amount. All right, we got a little bit of a different thing going on here, and I'm confused. Oh, by the way, I totally forgot to look at the etymology for glut. From Middle English gluten, probably from the Anglo-French glutir, which means to swallow. That makes sense because you're eating food. That was the original definition. There's more at the word glutton. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so then we got to go back to our noun, glut. Number two is archaic, and it is the act or process of glutting, which I guess would be just eating until you're full. So it seems like at some point then, maybe it used to be the idea of filling yourself, swallowing, eating your food until you were full, and then stopping. And then they were like, no, we actually prefer this word to be more about too much, eating too much food, oversupplying the market with the cookies. Okay, very interesting. Now we go to bump, bump, bump. Maybe this is actually the glutting that it was just talking about because we have the third form of glut. This one is the transitive verb from 1600, and this one is also archaic. So, yes, this is making me think that the act or process of glutting is about this one, which is to swallow greedily. To swallow greedily. So, it's just eating all the stuff. I think of these old hundreds of years ago, or not even all that many hundreds of years ago, in those old political comics of just real big, fat, rich people. And the whole thing was if you were rich, then you were probably fat, or if you were fat, you were rich. This is, and then if you were skinny, you were poor. This is what, and the things have sort of changed a little bit. But yes, it's this idea of, I'm so rich I can afford a huge feast and I'm just going to constantly eat all the time as much as I want. I'm going to go, let's go glutting. Glutting. Yeah, it says it's probably from the obsolete glut, which is to swallow, or it is a swallow, the noun. The obsolete noun glut, which was a swallow. Swallow more, swallow because you're greedy. I don't like greedy. Okay, well that was interesting. Now, and of course later we'll have a couple more glut words in the next episode, but we got to go on to a little bit of a different section. We have glutamate. Glutamate, noun from 1876. It is a salt or ester of glutamic acid, specifically a salt or ester of levorotatory glutamic acid that functions as an excitatory neurotransmitter. And it says compared to monosodium glutamate. Oh, I believe that word or those two words were in an Animaniacs song. Animaniacs. Oh, it was all about the ingredients. I guess I'll just look up So here we go. Let's just look up Animaniacs monosodium glutamate because I think, yes, the song was called Be Careful What You Eat. It's a featured ingredient in this song where the Warner siblings list chemical food additives. The song, which parodies Jacques Offenbach's Infernal Galop, highlights ingredients like MSG, dehydrated calcianate, and soybean oil in a fast-paced, humorous look at processed food. Oh, it is a very silly song. Where are the lyrics? Let's look at the lyrics. Let me sing a little bit. Maybe it's the part where they say monosodium glutamate. Let's see. How about the pistachio almond fruit ingredients? Zinc. Where's the fun part? Sorbet. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. Here. Grade A milk emulsified, maltodextrin alkali, silicon deoxylate, lots of sugar. Hey, all right. Calcified synthetic salt, artificial barley malt, glycerin and aspartate, folic acid. That tastes great. Monosodium glutamate, dehydrated calcianate, soybean oil, butter, fat, caramel center. I'll eat that. Then that goes on for more. Hooray for sugar, 'cause we love it. Chocolate chips, we want more of it. Cakes and ice cream while we shove it down our throats real fast. Here's a candy bar. Have you tried it? Hey, let's all see what's inside of it. Gelatinized glycerin, phosphate soybean, less thin, deoxide, silicon, dipped in chocolate. Bring it on. Citrus enzyme, BHD, powdered milk. Sounds good to me. Baking soda, carob gum, carbohydrates, yummy yum. Monosodium glutamate, zinc disodium alginate, whole grain flour, yeast and fat. Time to eat it. I'll do that. We like sweets a lot, but they make your insides rot. So remember, it's your body and the only one you've got. Hey, we just did the whole song. Okay, we went on a tangent. I don't know what glutamate is. It's a salt or ester of glutamic acid. Ba-bump. What is this I see here now coming up next? Glutamic acid. It is a noun from 1871. A crystalline amino acid, C5H9NO4, widely distributed in plant and animal proteins. Yep. Ba-bump. Now we have glutaminase. Glutaminase. That's what it is. Or you could also say glutaminase. Noun from 1938. It is an enzyme that hydrolyzes glutamine and, nope, hydrolyzes glutamine to glutamic acid and ammonia. I don't know about any of this stuff. Bump. Next is glutamine. Noun from circa 1885. It is a crystalline amino acid C5H10N2O3 that is found both free and in proteins in plants and animals, and that yields glutamic acid and ammonia on hydrolysis. They're all doing this stuff together, all these things. Hey, you know what? We got more. Ba-bump. We have glutaraldehyde. Glutaraldehyde. It is a noun from 1951. A compound, C5H8O2, that contains two aldehyde groups and is used especially in tanning leather and in the fixation of biological tissues. The fixation of biological tissues, does that mean that it's combining biological tissues one to another? Is that like maybe inside of your body you got maybe ligaments connected to the muscles, connected to the skin, your skin's connected to your muscles connected to your ligaments connected to your bones, something like that. I don't know, they got to be connected somehow, and then you're like, they're all connected, I can't break them apart. All right, let's move on to we have glutaric acid. Now, before we had glutamic acid, this is glutaric acid. It is a noun from circa 1885. A crystalline acid, C5H8O4, used especially in organic synthesis. Organic synthesis seems like an oxymoron to me. Synthesis is something created. Organic is something like created by humans. Organic is something created by nature. So how do you organic synthesis? I don't know. I'm sure, yes, you can grow things, but I don't know. It seems like there's something funky about that to me. Or I just think too hard. All right. Now this one is from, it says probably from gluten plus eric, and then acid. Okay, next we have glutathione. Glutathione, glutathione. Noun from 1921. This is a peptide, C10H17N3O6S, that contains one amino acid residue. Residue? Wait, does that say? Residue each of glutamic acid. A peptide that contains one amino acid residue each of glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. So one each of those, 3, and that occurs widely in plant and animal tissues and that plays an important role in biological oxidation reduction processes and as a coenzyme. Woo! So much information that I don't understand. And I'm sure some of you are like, but it's so easy. And I said, not for me easy. Ba-bump. Next is glut. Glute. I am glut. Okay, that's a thing. That's got to be a thing. A glut is a noun from 1984. The synonym is gluteus, which we will see. It sounds like a gladiator or ancient Roman name. Gluteus. This is usually used in plural. You would say glutes. Oh, yeah, we'll talk more about glutes in a little bit. Next, gluteal. Let's see, you could say gluteal. Some people say it that way. Adjective from 1804. Of or relating to the gluteus muscles. Do you know where the gluteus muscles are? If you don't know, You know what they are, but you don't know you know what they are. But you probably know what they are. A lot of people know what they are. Next is gluten. Gluten. Noun from 1803. It is a tenacious, wow. Describing this protein as tenacious is very interesting to me. It is a tenacious elastic protein substance, especially of wheat flour, that gives cohesiveness to dough. It makes the dough cohesive. It's keeping it all together. If you make something that doesn't have gluten in it, what's holding it together? Food scientists and bakers and people are like, well, we could do this with other things. We can use other forms of tenacious elastic protein substances. What are they? I don't know. There's something out there. Because people have gluten intolerances or celiacs, something where it's like they actually can't have it. People have figured out that they can have, instead of like regular flour from wheat, they could have almond flour, coconut flour. I think I've heard different kinds of flour, this like ground up stuff to keep your dough cohesive. You don't want dough that's not cohesive. What kind of dough is that even? Glutinous is an adjective, and this word is from the Latin gluten, which means glue, because it's like the glue. It's holding the dough together. That's what it is. Okay? I don't know. I feel like there's more to talk about with this. I mean, what I have heard is that gluten is technically more difficult to process and digest for everybody, all humans. And so, of course, that there's going to be different different DNAs out there, different groups of people who have different genetic structures all across the world. So everybody's going to be a little bit different. But in general, I think I have heard that it is more difficult to digest for all humans than other things. And so it's probably better for most humans to have less gluten. But there are people who absolutely have intolerances, and it makes everything very funky in their digestive system. And then there are people who have celiacs who are like, nope, can't have any of it. It's not even an intolerance. It messes me up. It makes me sick. It's bad, 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 bad. And so this is why we have been seeing a lot more gluten-free options out there in the world. And I think people who are making food are getting better at making these things taste better, have a better consistency for what people like. Back in the day, I was around at sort of the beginning of this when gluten-free was starting to get a little bit more common or popular or trendy, whatever you want to use, because I think it's all of those. And the consistency was like, man, it's fine. It's fine. It's less gluten, so that's good. And they've been getting a whole lot better at all this stuff. And you go to restaurants and you see GF say this is gluten-free. It don't got gluten. I will say though, as a vegan, gluten has nothing to do with my diet. Vegan is no animal products. Gluten is not an animal product. And there have been times where we go to a restaurant or a place and we say, do you know if that's vegan? And they're like, well, I know it's gluten-free, but that's all I know. And like, okay, I think we're at an age in society at this point where you'd think that more people would know these things. And I get it. Not everybody knows. That's not a diet that is part of their life, so I get it. But if you're in the restaurant world, I feel like you should know a little bit more than maybe the average person. All right, well, that's plenty to talk about for gluten. And now we shall move on to bump. We have glutathione, or maybe it's glutathione, something like that. glutethiamide. This is a noun from 1955. It is a sedative hypnotic drug, C13H15NO2, that is a derivative of piperidine, and has pharmacological properties similar to those of barbiturates. Man, I remember hearing about barbiturates when I was younger. I think those were like a really, really strong drug or something. Okay, it's a sedative hypnotic drug, a glutathione. Never heard of it. Don't know anything about it. It's from gluten and and amide. Ba-bump, ba-bump. Now we have gluteus. Gluteus or gluteus. Noun from circa 1681, way back then. What is the glutii or glutii or glutii? That's the plural. A few ways to pronounce the plural of gluteus. It's not gluteuses. You're not allowed to say gluteuses. You have to say glutii, glutii, or glutii. This is any of the large muscles of the buttocks, especially the synonym, well, more specifically, gluteus maximus. I think that is the one that most of us are aware of. I believe it is the one that is the largest buttock muscle, and there's other buttocks muscles. There must be. Should we just look up all of the... This is a funny search. All of the glutii. That's and it changed it to all of the glutes. A group of major muscles located in the buttock region, the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius, and the gluteus minimus. So we got a minimus, the smallest one, we got the maximus, the biggest one, and then we got the middle one, the medius. I assume that's what they are in size. And should we look up a picture? There's a whole link about the gluteus muscles, the gluteal muscles, and where's the... And then wow. There's a whole section about artistic representation. So, of course, there's sculptures and Greek art and more sculptures, Roman relief sculpture, they're all focused on the butt. But then we get into photos. And I don't know if I would call these artistic representations. This one is the large glutes and muscular proportions of this heavyweight boxer in the 20th century. Is his butt particularly big? There's modern sprinters. It's just a photo of a sprinter, a photo of a pole vaulter, and then a photo of an adult entertainment person. It says the commercialization of the gluteal muscles as demonstrated by an adult entertainment associate. And it's just a woman who's wearing essentially a thong. Well, there's two glutes, two persons' glutes in there. And that, I mean, okay, some form of artistic representation, but it's like Roman art, Greek art, sports people, and sexy people. Anyway, the glutes. I was trying to find the picture of the different. Anyway, the gluteus. These are the muscles in your buttocks, and what we need to look at, of course, is the etymology. Some people might want to look at the gluteus as well, but what we are going to look at is the etymology. This is from the Greek glutos, which just means buttock. That's really all it is. There's more at the word cloud for some reason. So really, we'll get into, let's just talk about it right now. Ba-bump, ba-bump. Maybe that's the sound of your beautiful gluteus walking down the street. Ba-bump, 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 ba-bump. Everybody's glutes are buttes. That worked out well. Now we have gluteus maximus. 2 words. They don't list the other gluteus muscles in here for some reason. This is a noun from 1831. It is the outermost muscle of the 3 glutei found in each of the human buttocks. You got a left side and you got a right side. Unless your body is different than the quote-unquote average or normal person, then you got a left gluteus maximus and a right gluteus maximus. And I'm sure that there's more scientific terms for left and right. And so it's the outermost muscle. And is that the one? I assume that's the one that's taking up most of the area of your whole buttock region. Of course, I have to grab my glutes at the same time to feel the gluteus maximus, I guess. I don't know. So I guess what this name is, what it means is the maximus, the biggest butt, the biggest buttock, because gluteus means buttock. And then you got the little buttock, and then you got the middle buttock. I got one buttock on each side. Anything else to say about gluteus maximus? I mean, it definitely does sound like there needs to be, if there hasn't been already, there needs to be some sort of spoof or parody or satirical thing with an ancient Roman person whose name is Gluteus Maximus. There was in the life of Brian, there were some funny names, but I don't think they ever said Gluteus Maximus. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Okay, now let's move on to ba-bump. We have glutinous or glutinous, 2 or 3 syllables. I think I prefer the 3-syllable version. This is an adjective from the 15th century. It is having the quality of glue, and the synonym is gummy. Glutinously is an adverb. Something that's gummy. I think that if you're describing something as glutinous, sometimes it might not be what you want it to be. Maybe you're eating some bread that's glutinous because it's gummy. And I'm like, I don't want gummy bread. That's not the consistency of the bread that I want. I want a different kind of bread. I want other things to be gummy. Gummy worms, Swedish fish, Sour Patch Kids. Those sorts of things should be glutinous in a gummy way. Okay, yeah, that's from gluten. And then we shall move on to bump. It's glutinous rice. 2 words, noun from 1900. It is the seeds of a short-grained cultivated rice that are plump and sticky when cooked. It's the sticky part that I think makes it glutinous, because they're probably all sticking together. And that's an easier way to eat rice when you've got chopsticks. If it's all sticky and stuck together, you can scoop it up, and not all of the pieces are falling off from each other individual. I don't want to be picking up individual pieces of rice with my chopsticks. I want a whole clump. I want it to be glutinous. By the way, this species name is Orza sativa glutinosa. And that is that for all of that. And now we shall pick a word of the episode. Today we had glut. Glutamate, glutamic acid, glutaminase, glutamine, glutaraldehyde, glutaric acid, glutathione, gluteal, gluten, glutathamide, gluteus maximus, and glutinous rice. Well, you know what? I think I might just have to pick gluteus as the word of the episode, right? That seems like the right thing to do. Maybe not gluteus maximus, because that's more specific, but maybe just gluteus in general. I think I was in 6th grade science class when I learned about this word for the buttock. I think all of us were like, oh, hee hee ha ha, that's the scientific word for buttocks. That's a private area. Children. All right, sing a song about gluteus, Spencer. Gluteus, you need the glutes to walk around. Some people, I don't know where we're going with this one. Gluteus, do what you want with your gluteus. Work on your glutes, do some squats, make them all buttes. Something that rhymes with squats, plots. I don't know. Your glutes are pretty important. It's like it's like the thing. It's the transition point from your upper body to your lower body, and they're helping your legs to move and all these things. And I don't know, do some squats, get them tight if you want, and don't if you don't. I don't know, do your glutes. Do your glutes? That's not what I meant to say. Anyway, glutes. I shall tell you about another movie. It's the last one that I got on my list, and that's very sad. I've been busy, haven't seen so many movies. I am hoping to maybe get to see a movie this weekend. But the next movie that I saw, now I don't believe it is out in any form at the moment. It's probably going to do the festival circuit first, but it was the Chicago premiere of a new movie made by a friend of mine, an indie Chicago filmmaker named Michael Glover Smith, and it is the movie called Hekla, Hekla. And it's basically a day in the life of an actress. What is her life like between going on auditions and personal relationship stuff and other things? And it is essentially a spin-off of another film that he made. I think it was the last film that he made called Relative. And this character came in, sort of one of the supporting characters, and what I learned at the screening during the Q&A was that he had already been working on this script about showing what actors go through, and then when this character, this actress specifically, like the real actress, and this character came into his life, he's like, well, she should be the one who this story is about, and she ended up co-writing it with him and co-producing it, and I should give you some more names and information. Let's see. And it features many local Chicago actor people, including Wendy Roby, who is the narrator, and she was also in his film Relative, and she was also in Twin Peaks and other great things. Yes, the character Hekla, her last name is Goodman's daughter. And she is played by Elizabeth Stam, and the character is from Iceland, or like her lineage is from Iceland, and I think Elizabeth Stam's lineage is also from Iceland, and so that's why she has a name, which is Hekla Goodmansdottir. Okay. Yeah, great movie. If you get a chance to see it, you should see it, and that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you so much for checking it out, and until next time, this is Spencer, squeezing his glutes that you can't see what's going on, but you should do the same. Ready, set, squeeze. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.